All right, what's going on today, guys? Got a pretty crazy lineup for us today. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least over 10 cards today. This one's pretty good lineup. Got one from Civic, and then we have another one from Joe Bourne. I know, right? Yeah, I decided to have a countdown because it gave me some time to finally share my stuff and all that stuff. So, you know, trying to be a legitimate streamer over here. Civic, welcome. Glad you're able to make it. Just doing some fine tuning over here. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good Wednesday. And yeah, super stoked. Changed up a little bit of the formatting, make it a little bit easier to read. Yeah, Jay Bourne, of course. We got Civics coming up first, and then I'm definitely going to be hitting yours up here soon. So I'm just getting everything ready here, and make sure that everything is in frame. Perfect. All right. So, for those of you who have not seen this before, this is it seems like it's like a weekly thing, where we review the community's cards for grade review. So, how it works is that members of the community will submit in the grade review channel of our Discord to have their cards assessed live by myself and by the community. So, you'll see my grade as well as a chat grade. So, this gives people a good idea on what their cards would get graded before they send them out, in case you were thinking about getting your cards graded or wondering about the process or what goes into looking at a card to get graded. So it kind of helps out everyone. And one thing I will bring up before we continue is we are still doing our grade review giveaway. So if you haven't entered, now's the time to enter. We have 9 days left. So how this works is if you submit your cards in the grade review channel, you will have a chance to enter in a giveaway for a free PSA 5 Pikachu. US only for now, and the prizes will only get better from here. This is more of just getting things prepared and testing and making sure that the giveaway works and all that stuff. So definitely check that out if you haven't. The links and everything that you'll need is in the giveaway channel. Now it is done. Let's start reviewing the Mew EX. So, first things first. Let's get we got the fancy magnifier like we got in Betty's review. So let's start this. And one thing I will appreciate if anyone likes, shares, and follows the live if you're not following already. I definitely appreciate it. I really want to make sure that this channel and this content goes out to as many people as possible, because again, my big focus is developing a community where I share this information for free and try to make sure that this information isn't gatekept by any means. So definitely appreciate all the likes and shares. It really does mean a lot. So with that being said, let's look at this really cool looking Mew EX. So Mew EX. So as always, we always want to start with the edges. So edges so far look really good. Again, we're looking for anything like scratches or dings or creases or anything like that. So far, so good. Normally, the one thing I would see right away is a lot of scratching on these edges that normally come up, but as I can tell right now, and you can obviously tell that there is good lighting here, right? A lot of these hollow spheres are really popping. And let's see. Couldn't get in the light, but has 3 swirls. Oh, definitely lucky. If you have 3 swirls on a card, that is incredible. So since I'm on the hollow, let's see if there is any scratches. It is in English. We had the Lugia that was in Spanish, I believe. Top border does seem wider. Let's see. So from the top down, you mean? You're thinking that that's a little off center? From my perspective, it kind of looks okay. And actually, one thing that it's kind of funny, you can't see it at all, but behind the scenes, I actually have a ruler that I'm putting up against my monitor. It's the goofiest thing you can probably tell, but I'm putting it up to the screen So, for example, the left edge is 1/4 of an inch. The right edge is 1/4 of an inch. So your left and right is good. I'm going to take a picture of this because this looks goofy as hell. And I hope to God that I don't like puncture my monitor because of how big the ruler is. But yeah, let's take a look. 2 lives, 1 body. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. All right, so we got a 1/4 of an inch on the top. And again, this is jumbo size, so that's why I'm saying that. And you are correct. It is slightly, very, very slightly larger on the top than it is on the bottom. So yeah, a little off center. It might still be within the range of 10, but it does in fact look like that. So the only thing I see that might either be a hair or a scratch. There might be something right here. I don't know if you can confirm that or not. As well as possibly this foot right here. It almost kind of looks like a J. That might be something. So those are the only 2 what I could probably think of as scratches, maybe 3. So 1, 2 in the bottom left, and then 1 almost looking like a J by the Muse foot. But all in all, in terms of the text looks good. There's nothing huge there. So I would say to start, if these are scratches, honestly, those are the only ones that I'm seeing. And again, if you've never seen or been a part of a grading process, this is exactly what graders are going to be looking at, or they're really going to be meticulous at looking at the condition. But having said that, this is actually a really nice card. So I would say so far, with the picture that I'm seeing, unless chat sees anything that I haven't said, it looks like the front, at the very least, would probably be a PSA 7, if that's a scratch. PSA 7, PSA 8, somewhere around there. Probably be more conservative than that. That'd probably be a 7. But let's flip it over. So the back. Let's take a look at the back. Again, for being an older EX, the corners and edges are actually really clean, to be honest. We do have some whitening here on the left edge, so that's going to take it back a little bit. We also have some whitening on the bottom left as well. Bottom looks really clean. You got a little bit of a white spot in that bottom right. Edge looks good. The only thing that I don't know, the J-like thing looks to be part of the art and under light. I can't see the other possible mark. Okay, so if that is the case, then I'd probably say, just for being conservative with just the one picture, I would probably say an 8 or a 9. If there's any other scratches on the border or on these edges, like possibly like right here, maybe, I'm not too sure. But if this J is a part of the art, then probably 8 or 9. If it is not, then probably 7 or an 8 on the front. But on the back, the only thing that sticks out to me is this white speck right here on the Pokeball itself. So I'm not too sure if that's a chunk from the Pokeball. Betty, thanks so much for the live. I appreciate that very much. So if that's a chunk out of the Pokeball, that might take it back. Or if a little dust or something you can get off. But all in all, really the only thing taking it back is probably this edge for the backside and some of these white nicks in the bottom right hand corner. But yeah, all in all, for a card of this age, pretty clean. So let us first see what chat thinks. So a poll has been started, so let me see what you guys think this card would get. So again, the Mew EX, here is the front, here is the back, and let's take it for a vote. Eli, thanks so much for the likes. I appreciate that. Oh man. Oh, it's interesting. We got a few votes here. So we got 2 so far, 8 or higher, 2 for 7 or 6, and then 1 for 5 or 4. So it's a pretty big spread, honestly. So we will end it there. So it's looking like, honestly, looks like we had at the last minute, based off of the bubble before I stopped it, it looks like the average was 7 to 6. Sean, thanks so much for following. I appreciate that very much. So chat grade at the last, literally the last second, was between 7 and 6. And Sean, thanks so much for liking the live. I appreciate that. And so for mine, I would say if this is a chunk out of the Pokeball, which in this case, just to be conservative, I'm going to think so. If this wasn't here, this edge would put this card at a 7. So if this is also a chunk out of this Pokeball, it'd probably be a 6. If you can get rid of this, it'd probably be a 7. So just keep that in mind. Eli, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate that. Hey, Alexis, how's it going? So I'm thinking my grade, if that is a ding, would probably be a 6. And then chat grade would be 7 to 6. So that is the Mew EX. Wicked, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate that. All right, on to, this was probably one of my favorite ones that you submitted, honestly, is the Umbreon EX. I just really like how in the Umbreon, you can kind of see that they're playing around with the lighting, how it's glowing. So Alexis, what I am doing today is this is a grade review. So this is a submission sent in by Unhandy Civic for us to look at. So this gives a opportunity for chat and myself to help you as a community member to review some of these cards and just give a general idea on what we think the grade might be, right? So it's not a guarantee, but at the very least it's free and it kind of gives you an idea on what to look for, more for education and entertainment as well. And honestly, just to look at some cool cards. So that is what we're doing. I mean, it still looks awesome. This, like, a lot of these older EXs are, I'm right there with you, just look amazing. So, but yeah. And then, as always, if anyone is interested that you haven't taken advantage of this, if you just want to join the Discord, you can find it by going to galaxiagamingtcg.com and then looking at the Discord link. And we also have, real quick, we also have a grade review giveaway going on with 9 days left. So definitely check that out if you're interested. So, Umbreon EX. Sick looking card. The contrast with the red background and the yellow rings of the Umbreon are really nice. So, the front, you can obviously tell. So this is what I was talking about with the Mew EX that I'm honestly surprised that I didn't see more of, is a lot of the scratches on the edges. Because again, this whole edge is holographic, so a lot of these will pop up pretty quick. So we got one there on the top, maybe one there on the top left corner, maybe one here, not too sure though. But the corners are actually really nice on the front side. So you got that going for you. Bottom edge looks really clean. And yeah, honestly, that's really the only big one that I've seen on the edge. It's just that top part. Mama, welcome. Now let's look. That's so. I'm sorry. On a sidetrack, I really love this new this hover tool. It's so nice to just be able to like zoom in. It's such a cool like quality of life improvement, and you guys can see that so well. So we do have some scratches here on the top right side. Maybe got a little bit of something there. That might be just something you could probably clean with like a microfiber cloth would be my guess, whatever this is. So let's say that you can clean this, because it doesn't look like it doesn't look like clustering, which in my terms, clustering is like a small concentration of scratches. It doesn't look like that. It looks like something you can probably just wipe off. Do have some scratches though, starting to show in the bottom left. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just keep it zoomed in here, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 8 that I see. So, Moon, welcome. Let's see. Yeah, so definitely some scratches for sure. Also in that bottom right as well. Let's see. Yeah, really the only thing taking this back is just the scratches. So I'd say, just from the front alone, I would probably say a 6. with just the lighting that you're talking about in the chat as well. So I'd probably say the front would be a 6. So let's flip it on over. Yeah, so this is probably where it's going to start going back a little bit. So now what I was talking about before, where the corners on the front were really nice, we're now flipping it around. And some of these corners are dinged, unfortunately. But again, these cards are very old. So we got one in the top right, one in the top left. You can kind of see some of this fraying that starts to happen, where it starts to curl in towards the center of the card. Got some whitening there. So you're going to basically, without me just saying it over and over again, a lot of these edges are just random spots of whitening and frayed edges, all on all 4 corners as well as the edges. It also does look like there are some spots where you probably could clean. Like right here, that might be just like a dirt or grime stain that you might be able to take care of. But other than that, yeah, it's honestly just whitening and just honestly just general wear and tear of the card probably just being loved to death. So that is the front of the Umbreon. That is the back, and let's see what chat thinks. This one's probably going to be interesting for sure. So the poll, where is my poll? Restart. There we go. So the poll is live if you want to vote for that. So again, this is the front of the Umbreon, and this is the back. A lot of scratches on the front from what I could tell, and then more so a lot of the whitening and the dings on the back as well. But yeah, super. I mean, honestly, like for the cards that you've submitted and the cards that you said that you're collecting, like these are super nice. I'm not going to try to spoil. I mean, obviously you can see in the Discord what you submitted, but I was very excited with some of the cards that you submitted. Yeah, just touch it up with some paint. Go down to your local hardware store, paint up some of that. You'll be fine. Just send, just give the painter person a sample of this, and they'll do one up real quick. And on a serious note, do not repaint your cards if you're submitting them to the PSA. That is merely a joke. Before someone takes me out of context and starts submitting cards with Home Depot paint. So, all right. Let's see. Before you get to a certain card that you've done in English, there's one worse than mine. That tend. Gotcha. Yeah, exactly, Civic. We'll keep it hush hush. I do not work at PSA. Penguin. You almost tricked me with your name. However, I have been doing this for quite some time, and I also track my accuracy for grading. So I just tried to, show as much of this process as I can, just more for education. Okay, so ending. So it looks like chat grade is around a 7 to 6. So let us do that real quick. So 7 to 6. So I would say for mine, there are a lot of scratches on this front part. So again, one of the fifth hidden criteria is eye appeal, right? So one of the first things I saw was this scratch on the front, scratches in the bottom left, bottom right, and on the top, as well as a lot of this surface and edge wear on the back. So I think if there was a little bit less whitening, if I can have my magnifier glass. So if there's a little bit less whitening, that was a tongue twister for me for whatever reason. So if there was less whitening, I'd probably say a 6. But in this case, just for how aggressive some of these are, like this one right here, in both the top left and the top right, and whatever this would be on the bottom, I want to say that for me personally, I probably would say a 5 would probably be mine. So we got a pretty decent range here. So my grade would be a 5, and then chat grade would probably be 7 to 6. So, but I would imagine that the chat grade would be more towards a 6 than the 7. But again, super cool card. Honestly, this is a good example of a good binder card, right? So the front looks really clean, well, in retrospect, but the back is really where it kind of pulls this back. So an excellent binder card. So before I move on, I'm gonna just catch up with chat real quick. Let's see. Jayborn, I wonder is the card care will work on light scratches. So this is kind of my public service announcement for anyone that says anything about card care or like card wax. Be very careful if you plan on submitting them or selling them as like an improved condition, because if you try to use card care or card wax on a card before submitting it to PSA and they catch you doing so, they'll mark it as being retouched or altered, and you may be subject to losing your ability to submit to PSA. And then if you plan on selling these raw, just think of it from your own perspective. Like, how would you feel if someone sold you a card that they said was near mint, but then when you looked at it, you saw that there was some weird wax residue that they may have not taken off because they tried to patch it. So, if it's for your own personal collection, right? Like if you had a childhood collection that was beat, but you wanted to kind of restore it, just keep it for yourself, that's where I feel that product is really good. So just take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, everyone has their opinion and you can do whatever you want, but that's just my 2 cents if you're curious about it. Your opinion on card... Well, there you go. I just answered Wicked's question. What is the value of this card market price? So Blue Dreams, that's actually really funny you said that. So one of the things I'm going to start doing very soon, I just set up kind of the foundation of it, but in the Discord, I started to polish up a new channel called Price Discussion, where it talks exactly what you're asking for. So I'll probably start doing that in the future. There's still some things that I want to work out logistics wise, but definitely check that out, where we can do more price discussion stuff. So, and that goes for anyone. If anyone is interested in kind of doing price discussions or just kind of open dialogue on Pokemon investing, quote unquote, I say that very loosely, investing. If you guys seem interested or talking about that, I'd be more than happy to add that to the schedule for sure. You know, the guy who picks his Woody in Toy Stories, especially the Q-tips? That's me. Exactly. I have all the gadgets and gizmos to polish up. The only thing I will not do is erase Andy's name on the back of the card. I'll definitely not do that. If someone wrote Andy on the card, I'm not taking it off. No matter how many Q-tips I have. That's Andy's card. That is a funny story because I did have a card not too long ago that actually had a sticker on it. And I tried probably like an hour trying to get rid of it just to see if I could. But yeah, Jayborn, of course. All right, so next. So I feel like this was, so correct me if, so Civic already said it. So I think this one's going to be interesting. So we're just trying to see if this is what is called the anti-10, right? So some people actually enjoy collecting PSA 1s to a degree. So we're going to see. This is probably going to be the most critiqued card that is on this channel to date, for sure. Because I can, right off the bat, without even taking out the magnifying glass, I can at least count 3 creases. One of them is insane. So, without further ado, let's look at the Swampert, who was literally dragged through a swamp. So let's see. So, right off the bat, we got a ding in the top right. We got a crease or a scratch right there, and right above the P. We got a scratch there. We got a crease. It looks like the first crease on the left. We got a crease, another one. That's 2. This section's looking good so far. Hey RJ, how's it going? Bottom left, actually looking really clean somehow. I don't know how it's that clean compared to the rest of the card, but so far so good. Now we're in the bottom right. Same thing. This part's looking good, but then we're starting to get to the scratches. But this one, my lord, look at this is insane. I'm imagining that's a crease because it's kind of jagged looking. Even the Swampert is stunned that crease is literally across its face. How'd I know? I saw you join. But yeah, that crease is insane. Even the Swampert is stunned. And I'd probably spend an hour on highlighting every scratch. This whole thing is just covered in scratches. Holy, that's nuts. So yeah, that's the front. And are we all prepared for me to flip this thing over? I am so worried on what this thing's gonna look like on the back. If we saw 1, 2, 3 scratches on the front, Man, I have no idea what we're going to see in the back. Well, Triana, you are in for a treat because there is a ton of older cards coming up. I agree with Swampert. This is a mood for sure. Holy, what is this back? That is nuts. Okay. So, Ian, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. All right. So, I literally don't know where to begin. All right. So we got some swamp water here. I have no idea what that is. That's some swamp water for sure. That's probably from a mud slap. Some frayed on the top left. I mean, you got half of the card ripped on the left. We got some here on the left. Some fuzzy corners on the bottom. Mud slap. Yes. Gasping for the mud slap. Got some frayed on the... I mean... I think the big word of this is frayed. Frayed increased. I just... Frayed increased. Frayed increased. There's another crease. I mean... Guys, I don't know what you're... I don't know what we're going to be thinking on this one. Let's see. Oh, look at this special treat. Hold on. Civic just posted another one. Holy... Look at this thing. Look at that. Look at that crease. Holy... That's literally a fissure of the earth in this card. that is insane. Holy. Alright. Let's get back to the original here. Alright. Well then. That is pretty gnarly. You missed the big one. What do you mean the big one? Oh my god. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about. This is, this thing literally went through a swamp. This was definitely fought over the playground. This thing was on, you know what this was? This was put on the bottom of the slide that the kids landed on. Almost like a safety mat. This is that. For sure. Yeah, that, oh, here's some new ones. This is nuts. Here's some right here. Look at this one. We didn't even see this one. There's two. They're literally running in parallel. Look at that. That's gnarly. Let's see. I have a card. Yeah, so Charizard, if you want to... Charizard fart. All right. So if you want to submit your submissions into the Discord, just go to galaxiagamingtcg.com. You can definitely post in the grade review. That's what we're looking at right now. All right, so this one's going to be interesting. So let's see what the chat thinks. TCG player would say near mint. Yeah, this would definitely come right from TCG Direct. Right to your doorstep at near mint plus. Alexander, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see what chat thinks. This one's going to be... Whew, this one's going to be interesting. So the poll is live. What is chat thinking about this poor beat fought in the playground, resting at the bottom of the slide? This poor Swampert. Bernie, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, it's definitely, you know what? For certain PSA standards, the 8 or higher. Who knows? Maybe if you get that one PSA grader that graded that Crystal Guardians Charizard not too long ago, that graded it as a as a 10 instead of a 1. It should. If you wanna, here, let me type it in chat. 1 second. The spelling might be not articulating it clearly enough, but that should work. All right. So we got 3 votes for 3 or lower, 2 votes for 5 or 4, and then 1 meme vote or the PSA worker coming back in 8 or higher. So this is definitely so we're gonna do less than 3. Yeah, so will this get the 1? That's really the big question we're all wondering, right? Would this get lower than a 1? With the amount of creases, and the amount of bends, and the amount, because really the big thing that prevents it from not being graded because it's so damaged is, does it still look like a card? Does it still have the structural integrity of a card? And I think in this case, I want to say yes, it still looks like a card. However, does it warrant the PSA 1? And I am going to say I have never graded a card for PSA 1. I will just tell you that right now. I did Charizard. Yep. If you also need help too, if you just go to my profile, I have my website pinned in my description. It might be a little bit easier. But yeah, I would say just for giggles, I have faith that this thing is going to get a 1. I really like, if you do, I really hope that you do get this graded, just because I want to know now. Literally, I just want to know if this thing gets a 1. Charizard, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. But yeah, that is, if you're gonna have a good PSA, like anti-PSA 10 contender, or PSA 10 contender, that's gonna be it for sure. All right, next is the Japanese Houndoom. I like this one, and then the other Houndoom that you posted too. These are probably some of the coolest artworks. Houndoom, just as a card, it just as the artwork, just looks so sick. Like they do such a good job with how they portray Houndoom, being the hellhound that it is. Okay, so I'm just making sure that is in frame, and we are going to get rid of these. Yeah, that'd be very interesting if you sent that Swampert in. Yeah, I agree, Betty. I like, me personally, I like the dark form like slightly more than this one, but they both look so sick. All right, so the Houndoom, let's take a look. So, I'm not too sure. That might just be my screen. Yeah. Honestly, it looks really well centered, if I'm gonna be honest. Looks super well centered. Nothing obvious on the edges in terms of frayed or dings, so that makes my life easier. Maybe a scratch right there. Yeah, Civic definitely came in with some heat for sure. But he had some good ones too. The Korean Moonbryon was really cool. I think that's part of the artwork, I'm pretty sure. It's random gears and chains. But that front honestly looks real. Other than this right here, and probably this card looks really clean. So I'd say so far, probably you're looking at an 8 on the front. So let's flip her on over. And yeah, I would say still equally as impressive on the back. We do have some little dust. Looks like little dusties right there. Probably just get rid of that. That might be a scratch. Let's see. Little white ding in the bottom right there. I do have something there. So yeah, you might be able to probably clean most of this off. More so with just like a microfiber cloth, more likely. So if we can get rid of this, and this with a microfiber, then I think you should be pretty good. I don't really see anything else other than that. Besides that one little white dot on the bottom. So I see a question in chat, but let me just pull this real quick. So yeah, let's so the new poll is live. So what does chat think on what this Houndoom would get? So we got the front and we got the back. So while you guys are voting on that, I'm going to catch up on chat real quick. How do I submit? So if you go to... Oh, almost knocked my mic over. So if you go to galaxiagamingtcg.com, the website's also pinned on my TikTok profile if you want to go there. Just go to the website and then select the Discord icon. It'll redirect you to Discord, and then you will go into the grade review channel. I also posted a video not too long ago. I haven't pinned it, but it should be close to the top. It's called Grade Review and Giveaway Number 1. You can just watch that as well to have a more step-by-step guide. But just go to the website and select the Discord link, which will share the server, and then you can submit your cards through the grade review. Yep, Alexander. So yeah, just if you're paying attention, just submit that, like I said, and we'll basically do exactly what we're doing with civics cards right now. That white dot on the left isn't there anymore, so I don't know what on the left. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I figured. That's what it probably was. Most likely it was just some weird little fuzz. That's what it normally looks like to me when I see stuff like that. Jay, my brother has some Topps Chrome. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool that like your brother kept all those cards. That's really sick. Awesome, Wicked. I'm looking forward to it. And then, like I said before, for those of you who are submitting your cards, just on a side note while I'm about to drink my water, we do have a grade review giveaway going on. So if you submit your cards in the grade review, you will get a unique code to enter, as well as, because you've already joined the Discord server. So the information to this giveaway is actually in the giveaways channel in the important section. So definitely check that out if you plan on submitting. All right, so 8 or higher is the chat grade for this. So greater than 8. And so mine... So again, the front of the card, really clean. Back of the card, I think if we just take care of these little white dots and some of this... Well, you already took care of this one. It'd be nice if I actually had my magnifying glass. So you took care of this one. Probably can get rid of that as well as this. So I think really the only thing, funny enough, kind of holding you back from the 8 would probably just be this white dot. So I also agree that 8 would probably be... Luke, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Did you do my submission already? No, I have not. I'm still working on civics. We just looked at probably one of the most beat Swamperts we've ever seen. So you're definitely not too far behind. But yeah, I mean, this one's a pretty clean card for vintage, for sure. But this one's my personal favorite, in terms of the Houndoom artwork. I put a couple cards in the media part. Yeah, if you want to, just so I don't derail too far, Charizard, if you want to just look at the pin messages, all the rules on how to do it are there. It's pretty straightforward. And if for whatever reason, if I feel like, oh, like it's too blurry or whatever, I'll just let you know. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, definitely appreciate that. And like I said, you will definitely get a giveaway code once I get this at the end of stream. I'll try to follow up with everyone submitting, which I do appreciate. I definitely appreciate everyone who has liked and shared and all that fun stuff. Definitely means a lot. This is something I like to do. And it's always good to know and get feedback from the community to see that there is a need or there is a desire for people just to have a second opinion on cards and condition, because there are so many content creators ad nauseum that say like, oh, that'll be a PSA 10, that'll be able to pay off your house or pay off your student loans. Ugh. Like, it's just crazy. So I'm glad to do this as much as I can. And again, this is a free service. I'm not trying to charge anyone. So it's cool to look at vintage cards, to be honest. So yeah, definitely just always like to take the time to appreciate it, and we'll keep moving. So let's see, Civic. These two were mainly just curious on. Gotcha. Wicked, and thanks so much for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Alexander, yep, I need a second opinion since I'm pretty new. Yeah, exactly. And this kind of shows too, like some of the stuff that if I'm able to see certain things just from one picture, you know, there's obviously going to be more that I can't see just based off of the technology that we're using, right? So it just helps. Like if I can see a few scratches, then there's probably more, and then it kind of helps you get more confidence and just snowballs positively in that direction too. Awesome, Wicked. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Yeah, and there's going to be some more too. Like someone was talking about some price reviews. I want to start that as well, just to kind of highlight how I price cards, just to kind of get a sense, because a lot of people are tending to use price charting, but the problem with price charting is that they tend to sometimes use data that isn't actually accurate for what you're looking at, but that's besides the point. Let's see. So the top edge looks pretty good so far. Edges look good. No complaints there. Edges still look good. I'm gonna take out my fancy ruler here. Literally put it up onto the screen. So we got 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch there, and then on because I don't know if the top is thicker than the bottom. Let me see. No, it's about the same. Let's see. I see some comments coming in, but I'll just give me 1 second. So we do see this pretty long scratch kind of going into the bottom of its jaw there. So yeah, some scratches there. But can't really see anything in the bottom left, which is nice. Can't really see anything in the bottom right. Really the only big one is that top left one. So that is the front. Let's flip it over to the back here. Oh, okay, Civic. That's so funny. The anti-10 over here. PSA hates this man. Check these 5 tips on how you can get the anti-10. Graders hate him. Jesse, have you ever graded with the new CGC slabs? I know the value isn't there, but was wondering if a 10 is. Easier than a PSA. Honestly, like my really short answer, I can go into more depth later, but my short answer is no. I think I'm going to probably stick with PSA for quite some time until CGC has some more years underneath its belt and there's more sales data. But I can definitely talk about it more in depth later on. The top looks good. Corners look good. Side looks good. Let's see. Really kind of some scratches here in that top right and some edge wear there, but not too bad. Other than that, really nothing stands out that I can tell. Again, just some more like little white specks you can probably just wipe off with a microfiber cloth, so I'm not going to stress on that too much. All right, chat. Let's see what you guys think. The poll is live. What do you think this Houndoom's going to get? Another Hound, I know. There's so many pups running around. So many hell doggos just chilling. The other one that I really like, I think it's from it's either Quapolis, Sky Ridge, I can't remember. The one where it's like standing on a volcano. That one's sick. That one's so cool. But yeah, the CGC, I know, I mean, I know it's kind of like old news-ish, but they just, when they were saying that 9.5s can be submitted back and they would get regraded as 10s or something like that. But let's see. Is there a queue to the reviews? So Alexander, so basically I'm trying to do them in the order that they're received in that grade reviews channel. So I'm definitely trying to go through them as fast as I can. More so than others, because this is kind of the in-depth that I want to have it. Because anyone that does submit, I want to give them, you know, a good enough review and a good critique as much as I can without rushing it. That's why I'm probably going to be more critiquing on what I consider like bulk or cards that are kind of like, you know, or like more modern. Like the modern stuff is going to be pretty easy. Like unless you, I don't know, put it in your pocket or something. Most of them are going to be 8 or higher. It's just centering at that point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I try to get them done as fast as I can. But I want to give everyone, you know, the time and respect and give everyone the same amount of time. It is that's honestly one of the main reasons, Wicked, why I don't tend to stick with CGC. And that's why I think it should, that's why I'm probably going to wait a few years until the market kind of settles down and they get more sales data. But So yeah, if you verified your account, Charizard, it should be in the community section. But if you still have issues, just feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so we got 7 out of 6. So 7 out of 6 for the Houndoom. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking the only other thing that I saw as I was kind of talking, I don't know what these are. I didn't really point that out before, but I literally just saw it as I was kind of just talking. Is that there's like little dirt marks here? If that is a dirt mark. If it is a dirt mark, that's going to impact the grade for sure. But if it's not, which I think it is because it's so out of place in compared to the rest of it. Civic, if you could verify or confirm if this is like a dirt speck or not. It does have a print line too. Gotcha. Yeah, because the print, is this the print line? Because that looks like more of like the foil than anything. Just like how the foil, like the sheet of foil, like connected. That's what that looks like to me. But that's why I didn't really think that was a print line. It just looks like how the foil just connected off the roll. But if this is dirt, I would say that probably, I don't know, because dirt normally has a pretty significant impact. So if it was dirt, probably a 6. If it's not, a 7. So I'm probably going to do the same grade as chat, to be honest, just based off of that. So yeah, so if that's dirt, probably a 6. But if we can get rid of that, probably be a 7. But again, nice looking card for sure. All right, up next, we got some cool. So this is kind of what I was talking about. So this is relatively modern, right? Like not too crazy. This was back in 2019, but I absolutely, for those of you who saw me buy 3 of these not too long ago, and I still have some in the mail coming. This is probably one of my favorite modern promos to date. Just how the card looks and the artwork in the city. I absolutely love this card, to be quite frank. Awesome, Charizard. Yeah, and if you have any issues, like I said, just look at the pinned messages, and a lot of the instructions on how to do it are all there. So, but if you still have issues, please don't hesitate to reach out. So no worries there. Yeah, this card is awesome. Just like the Umbreon just swagging out. This this art style is so nice. But yeah, no worries, Charizard. No worries at all. So yeah, so if I just flip this, so yeah, this is looking pretty clean. So this one's probably going to be pretty quick. Again, this is more of just centering unless there's something obvious. And so the front centering, I'm just gonna take my ruler and put it up to the screen. And I'll literally have to take a picture of this. I'll do it right now. Hold on. Because it literally looks so ridiculous. Because every time you try to look for like a ruler plug-in for Chrome, it's like measuring elements, like page elements. So this is the dedication that I have for trying to help you guys. Which I love doing, don't get me wrong, but it's just so funny. Like I'm literally taking a ruler. Look at this. I'm uploading it into the media chat and Discord. I'm literally taking a ruler and this is what I'm doing. I'm literally taking a ruler to your cards and saying, oh, it's a 1/4 inch. That's what I mean when I'm saying, oh, it's a 1/4 inch. It's literally going up against my monitor. Like in this case, every pixel counts. So this is what we do. Galaxy Gaming, we do it differently here. All right. But yeah, the centering on the front looks really good. That all looks good. And then the back, the only thing that I see pretty immediately is probably this white little blemish here. So you're probably looking at the centering, honestly, is really good. It's really this is really the only thing that I can see. So for this one, I would probably say with that white nick, and it looks like that's the only thing wrong with it, I would still probably say if it's bigger in person, 8, but if it's smaller in person, would probably be a 9, would be my guess. So the silver border, so how does centering work for tag teams? So it's basically where you see, I'll take my magnifying glass here. So see where the tip of my mouse is? So it would go right from here all the way to the edge. So all the way here. So if I'm looking at the right, it'd go all the way here to the right. On the top, it would go from here to the tip of my mouse to the top. And then right where the tip of my mouse is on the bottom, all the way to here. So that's how you do the centering for that. Because this won't matter, right? Because this is part of like the extent. This is part of the artwork, but it's really just the four edges. Yep, that's how I do it at least. So yeah, I'd say probably like if this is probably big, if this is bigger in person, this would probably be an 8. But if it's smaller in person, it'd probably be a 9. But again, I absolutely love this promo. It is so sick. Next up, we got a Kabutops EX. Again, a lot of the cool EXs coming through for sure. But this one right off the bat, like I really don't see. I was expecting to see a lot of scratches in this area, in the bottom left and the top left. But actually really clean, from what I can tell. Not a lot of edge wear on the top or the left, or the bottom, or in the right. The Kabutops staring down your soul, looking good. There's no scratches on the art itself, nothing near the scythe. Let's see. Yeah, really honestly, not a lot of scratches. I don't see any. So based off this picture, you're already looking really good. But here comes the roller. The ruler. I don't know why I said roller. The ruler. So the left edge, 1/4 inch. Right edge, a little less than a 1/4 inch. So by the almighty ruler, it's thicker on the left than it is on the right. So this left edge is thicker than this right edge. And then the top and bottom are good. So they're both 1/4 inch. Yeah, no white marks on this one. This one's really clean, if I'm gonna be honest with you. This one's super clean. I'd probably say for this one, you're probably looking at a 9. If like with the pictures that you're showing, I don't see anything wrong with this card. Really, the only thing I can probably see, now I'm kind of looking at it, is this little like white dot or something, but that's probably just a fuzz you can get rid of. Yeah, for sure. Charizard's definitely got it right. Yeah, this one's super nice. This is probably one of the nicer ones you've had so far in terms like just straight condition wise. This one's probably your best bet. But yeah, super nice. All right, on to. So I think this one's the last. I was kind of looking through here. This looks to be the last one. Yes, it is. The Flygon. Was it Sandstorm? I'm pretty sure this set's from. Once I start getting into like Gen 3, like the Gen 3 e-readers, I start to lose track of what set these are from. I think this is Sandstorm. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, let me catch up with chat here real quick. Yeah, we just talked about the tag team centering. Centering tool, always been confused, yeah. Gotcha, okay. Let's see here. I'm just looking at some other stuff. Lando, welcome. And again, I definitely appreciate everyone that has been liking the live, engaging, and sharing. Definitely means a lot. I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record, but I truly appreciate all the support, and I'm glad that I can offer this as a fun community service, I guess, is the best way I can explain it. So it definitely means a lot, for sure, and I'm super stoked to review some of your cards for free and give you guys a sense if you're not comfortable with grading or just want to know more on what you really need to look for instead of just me telling you like, oh, it's a PSA 10 every single time just for clickbait. That's what I'm here to do. That's really my main goal. So I definitely appreciate it. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record too much, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, for sure, Jesse. I really do appreciate it. Can't say it anymore. All right, so the Flygon, probably one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 3, if I'm gonna be honest. The fact that it's wearing goggles is just so sick. Let's see, top part looking good. Edges looking good. So far, the centering and edges are really good. And so the other thing, right, that you have to keep in mind is for e-readers specifically, you can obviously tell that the bottom will always be thicker than the top. So unless there is a real way of assessing it, like whatever, because the big one would have to be like, what's the most consistent measurement for the bottom of an e-reader card? I don't know what that number is. So in this case, just to simplify it, I'm only going to go by the left and the right. I'm not going to go for the top and bottom in terms of centering, but the centering from the left and the right look really good. So you got that going for you. So those edges are really nice. I'm still lost on which holo card this is. There's a deck holo and a league holo, and they're identical. The only thing I can probably think of is if there's a manufacture date for between the deck holo and the league holo. So this one's made in 2003. So if the deck holo was made in the same time, that would also make it more challenging. But honestly, I don't know. This would probably be the first thing I would check, though, is the production or the manufacture date. But yeah, I really don't see a lot of scratches on this. The only one I see literally is just this one right here on the top left. You can probably not even see it on chat. I have no idea. You got one right there, but all in all, this card is extremely clean. Maybe one right there, but that's really pushing it. And maybe one right here. But again, I don't know if I'm just trying to look for them or look for things that aren't there. But I would say all in all, this front part is super clean. The back, let's take a look at the back. That top's good. Let's see. We are starting to see some whitening. Not too bad, though. We got one right there by my mouse. Another one right here. Starting to see some edge whitening on the as we go to the bottom left and in the bottom right. But all in all, and you got something that looks like you can probably clean the whatever this is. Probably clean that off. But all in all, the only thing I see is just these little white specks and this whitening on the edge on the bottom left. Not too bad. But yeah, let's see what chat thinks. So that poll is live. Gives me a chance to catch up here. Let's see. But yeah, super clean Flygon for sure. Yep, Betty, I'm right there with you. Definitely looks like a nice card. So we got one vote for 7-6 so far. Cammy, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate that. Yeah, I used to love these like, it's so funny to me because I don't even think I've ever seen an e-reader in person. Like, I obviously know of the cards and I know what the e-reader was supposed to do, but I just really wonder how many people that developed the e-reader thought You know what? This is a really good idea to swipe a card that someone bought and just damage the hell out of it. And it's just like the concept. I mean, I guess they didn't really care about condition as much back then, but man, like just saying that out loud, just, oh, let me ruin my cards by just scanning it over and over again. I don't know. It was a fun gimmick, like on paper, but. Oh, Betty, you're talking about just e-reader cards? Alright, so chat, aka Civic, voted and thinking between 7 and 6. I probably think that that's probably going to be more into the 7 category. But I also agree. I'm thinking probably a 7 as well. The front looks really clean, but I'd say that hopefully you can get like Gamble an 8, but normally when you start to see more of this soft edge wear pop out a little bit more, it starts to get into that 7 territory. So I'd probably say more confidence a 7, with probably a higher or lower chance of getting an 8, but I'd think probably a 7 for sure.